Okay, today we're going to talk about something incredibly important. That big jump for students with special needs from the world of school into adult life. And look, this is about so much more than just getting a diploma. It's about setting someone up for a successful future. So let's get into how we can turn what can be a really uncertain time into a real opportunity. So, this is the big question, right? How do we actually do this? The best way to think about it is like we're building a bridge. On one side, you've got the very structured, familiar environment of school. And way over on the other side is a fulfilling adult life. The whole challenge is making sure that bridge is solid, safe, and, most importantly, built specifically for the person who needs to cross it. And this bridge, it's not just a nice idea, it's absolutely essential. For a lot of students with special needs, this transition can be, well, it can be terrifying. You're leaving all the support systems you've known for years and stepping into the huge complexities of adult life. It's a moment of really high anxiety, and without a solid plan, it can unfortunately become a breaking point. This right here, this really gets to the heart of it. The real finish line isn't walking across the stage at graduation. The real goal is the successful launch into a life with purpose, with independence. And that's a huge shift in how we need to think about it. We're not just wrapping up a school program, we are beginning a future. So how do we build that stronger bridge? Well, it really comes down to two fundamental ideas. You have to start planning early, and you have to make that plan deeply personal. You can think of these as the two main pillars holding up the entire bridge. Get these right, and you've got a solid foundation. And that brings us to this key concept, person-centered planning. Now, this is way more than just a buzzword. It's a completely different way of looking at things. So instead of asking, okay, what services are available for you? We start by asking, what do you want for your life? And how can we help you get there? The student's own voice, their dreams, their unique strengths, that becomes the actual blueprint for everything that follows. And a huge part of this is starting early. And I don't mean a few months before graduation. The recommendation is to start 3 full years before they leave school. You can see the journey here. It starts with that formal, person-centered planning. Then, 2 years out, you're building out a portfolio, exploring what's possible, and in that final year, you're locking in the plans and making those crucial connections. It's all about being proactive, not scrambling at the last minute. Now, a plan is only as good as the people making it happen, right? That bridge doesn't just build itself. This all requires a dedicated core team, and it's so important to know who the key players are and what they do. And two roles are absolutely critical. First, you've got the transition coordinator. Think of them as the guide, or maybe the project manager, who keeps all the moving parts on track. But, and this is so important, the even more critical role is the student. The student is the driver. They are not a passenger on this journey. They are in the driver's seat, steering this whole plan toward a future that they actually want for themselves. But a great team isn't quite enough. You also need the right tools for the job. We're talking about practical, real materials that help make sure the student's journey across that bridge is as smooth as possible. And one of the most powerful tools is a comprehensive portfolio. Now, this is so much more than just a dusty folder full of old records. It's a living, breathing roadmap for the student. You start by gathering all the documents, sure, but then you really dig in to identify their strengths, their skills, their passions. From there, you clearly define their goals for the future, and finally, you map out the actual concrete steps to make those goals a reality. This portfolio becomes the master plan. Of course, what good is a roadmap if everyone on the team is looking at a different map, you know? That's where communication comes in. It's the glue that holds all of this together. Things like regular meetings, giving everyone shared digital access to that portfolio. It ensures the entire support network, from teachers to counselors to family, is all on the same page, all pulling in the same direction. Okay, so having the right plan and the right people for one student is amazing. But the real goal is to make this the standard for every student. And to do that, we have to kind of zoom out and look at building system-wide support. We need to strengthen the very framework that this bridge is built on. And for this approach to become the norm, it can't just be a good idea, it has to be policy. This means we need legislative adjustments that formally create roles like the transition coordinator and lock in processes like that 3-year planning timeline for all schools. That's how a great idea becomes a standard, reliable procedure that everyone can count on. So let's just do a quick recap of the most important takeaways here. Number 1, the process has to be student-led. Their voice is the most important one. 2, planning needs to start early, 3 years out. 3, that dedicated coordinator role is absolutely key to guiding everything. And 4, the comprehensive portfolio is the vital roadmap for the entire journey. And all of this leaves us with one final, really big question we should all be asking. When we look at our own schools, our own systems, are they truly designed to empower the student to build their own future? Or are they just designed to manage a process? Because the answer to that question tells us everything about whether we're just closing out a school year or if we're actually truly launching a life.